Let's go ahead and jump to TV this week. Let's give some more time to TV because
Sweet.
I think we should mix it up.
Yay! Cool.
So, starting off, Doctor Who. Who's watching Doctor Who?
Doctor Who.
You guys watch Doctor Who?
No.
Okay, we'll try and go quick. So, Doctor Who completely flipped everything upside down with this last episode. So, this is the first time we've had a female doctor, and I'm not going to explain how everything works in Doctor Who's universe because it would take me the next hour. But essentially, she's a reincarnation of this doctor that's been there since the 60s. They've always been men, they've always been white men, typically older men, but then they've gotten a little younger. And this is the first time we have a woman doctor. And in this last episode, we find out that she actually ran into another older version of the Doctor who happens to be a woman. And she's also a minority. And neither of them can figure out where this Doctor falls in her timeline. So, in my opinion, this could go really well or really bad, depending on how they play it up, because I think there's already kind of a wedge in Doctor Who fandom from the older fans and the newer fans with some of the decisions they're making. And in my opinion...
Do we have a clip? Oh, sorry.
I don't have a clip. I mean, they're about, was it 4 episodes in, Mark?
I think so. I think this was like the 4th or 5th episode
Yeah.
that the black female doctor appeared. And the best part about it was that it was completely unexpected.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't see any, sort of stories about it beforehand. The story itself, it was a great surprise. We were surprised at the exact same time that the doctor was surprised. And it's just so good when a story can do that, where you don't realize something right before the protagonist does. Instead, you found it at the exact same time, and it was just beautiful. And as an actress, she nailed it. She was a great doctor.
Yeah.
So I can't wait to see what they do with it as it continues. Because there's, this female doctor is charting her own course in a very unique way, but it's also pulling in some really old, kind of obscure things going on. So it's a very fun ride. Yeah,
the Rhino police mercenaries was something that they pulled from way back in the Doctor Who universe.
And then, and also she has 3 companions, which is fun. And that also brings a lot of diversity and humor to it.
There's a lot more dynamics.
Yeah, and then of course, what's Sexy McSexy? He came back.
John Barrowman.
Yeah, John Barrowman.
Captain Jack.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and that was...
Sorry if we spoiled it for you.
That was fantastic how he came
spoiled
back.
it like the next day.
Yeah, I was seeing him post
He
stuff
posted it
on
like on his Instagram. He's like, so I'd just like to say thanks for all, everybody being so excited about the surprise, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, man, if I was watching Doctor Who and I hadn't seen it yet, thanks, John Barrowman, for spoiling it.
Right.
It was like literally the next day.
Yeah, it was...
I was just reading online, there was apparently a lot of hubbub about it.
there's got to be because, all fandom has gotten toxic.
Jerks.
Whether it's Star Wars or DC Comics or Doctor Who, fandom has just gotten horribly toxic, and I don't give a fuck about them.
Well,
because they're not. These little boys are not getting laid. And
hey man, you leave us alone. So let me just say this: we've talked about canon before on the show about what this is canon, this isn't canon. Doctor Who, everything that happens in Doctor Who is considered canon. So this is officially Doctor Who history now. And this is why I said this could go very good or very bad. Because they have to tell us where this Doctor placed in the timeline. Is this before the first Doctor we ever knew? Is this like some middle Doctor? And they've had something similar happen with the War Doctor when John Hurt came along for a little bit. And they were like, this is somebody... The other Doctors knew who he was, but they didn't want to talk about him because he did a lot of stuff they weren't really fond of.
right.
So it's an interesting twist. This is the first time we've ever seen an earlier version of the Doctor that a later version of the Doctor couldn't remember in their own timeline.
Which also makes sense because something happened with this current Doctor on her regeneration. There's lots of little pieces she's not remembering. So I think it's kind of weird that she's like, but I don't remember you. And I'm thinking, your memory's been a little jacked for the whole...
What was the other thing she doesn't remember?
Go back to her first season. There was some shit going on she didn't remember. So
I'm blanking on.
Yeah.
Anyways, so that was Doctor Who. Go watch it. I think Mark, I'm 2 thumbs up on the show.
Ditto.
Yeah. So all right, next.
I just can't go back all the way and watch.
You don't have to. Well,
Because, in fact, you don't even have to watch all the way through because I skipped Old Man Doctor and I didn't watch all of
Matt Smith.
Matt Smith.
Which I love Matt Smith. I thought Matt Smith was. But let me tell you this: you can't go. It's actually impossible to go back to the early Doctor Who's because some of those episodes have been lost to time.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like they physically don't have the reel of tape anymore.
Right.
So you could pick up with David Tennant, Matt Smith. You could pick up with this newest Doctor, and you'll get caught up in probably 5 or 6 episodes.
Yeah, it's an easy pickup. Like I said, I skipped a whole season or 2.
Yeah,
How many seasons did Old Man have?
I think he had 2 or
No,
3.
there's more than that because it was like Eccleston was 1.
He had 1 season. David Tennant had like 4.
had 2 or 3.
So they had more than that.
I thought he had a
He
lot
had
more.
4. Tennant.
He
I
was
don't
around
know.
for a while.
He was around
Yeah.
for a
Everyone
while.
loved David
Matt
Tennant.
Smith had 2.
I think he had more than that
Two
too.
I
or
think he had
3.
3.
Yeah.
So I mean, you're looking at 8 there,
And then the old man.
Yeah.
But
Oh my God, I can't think of his name. But anyway, yeah, he
Peter
had 2 or
Capaldi.
3. Thank you, Peter Capaldi.
yeah.
I knew.
I would
stopped
say-
at
He
liking
played
Matt Smith.
Between 2005 and 2010, so 5 years probably.
Yeah, but they were missing a few seasons.
Yeah,
of
but
it.
yeah.
So I would say the good thing about Doctor Who, like I said, you could pick up on literally any Doctor and continue from there, and you'll start to figure out the history pretty quick. Like they do a lot of callbacks to the old Doctor Who's.
But it may not be your jam either because it's a lot of time travel. I mean, that's the crux of
Well,
it.
yeah. It's,
Well, I started trying to watch it like one of the earlier ones, and I was just like, okay, I'm done.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm there on that one.
Yeah, it's not.
just
It is not for everybody. It is distinctly British, and it's not for everybody.
yeah, I mean, I love British shit.
I do like
but
British. I just
I can't handle British sci-fi.
yeah,
I can't.
well,
Yeah.
it is
it was a
like I said.
smidge
It's,
much.
everybody's got their opinions.
It's
I
like-
think it's great, but
So, shall we talk about Picard?
let's go to Picard.
Picard.
Yes, please.
Is there
spoil the shit out
anyone
of
not
this.
watching it?
I'm not watching it.
What the?
My plan is to binge the crap out of it because I just want to experience it after it all comes out. I'm gonna like do it all my time.
You're such a millennial.
So can we talk about it then?
He's
Or is
older
it
than
gonna-
you.
I know, but I don't want to watch it and have to wait a week. I want to watch it all at once.
Uh-oh.
I'm sorry.
You cut him to the quick with the millennial comment.
I think
That's what
so.
it is. That's what happened.
Whenever I hear the word millennial, I expect the sentence, and I'm from the future to come out right after.
Okay.
Okay, can we talk about it then or no?
No, go ahead.
He
Yes,
doesn't care.
Yes.
do it.
Okay.
Yes.
And I found out what the cube was.
Oh, good.
I'm loving it. Absolutely loving it. Everything about it. That first episode was just, I just loved that it started off flying into the window of, the Enterprise D, and he was playing, was it checkers?
I think it was chess.
Chess with
No,
Data
he's
and
playing
whatever that was.
poker.
Yeah, poker.
Oh, it was poker.
Oh, because they did that.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
so like, and you're just like, oh my god, what is going on here? And then then he wakes up from the dream, and it was just, I don't know, I just loved that touch about it. And then some of the things he said were just, I mean, I know this is going to sound crazy, but I said this to, I think Rashad and somebody else. I said, but I've never really been attracted to older, but I could see that
Or a
happening.
white man.
I could totally see Jean-Luc Picard. I mean, so, that one statement, that one line he said, I don't want the
game to end.
I don't want the game to end.
Mm-hmm.
He talks about that in an interview that I read.
Oh, dude.
And him and Brent Spinner both talk about it, not together in the same interview, but apart from it. And so I love reading all
it
that
was right
stuff,
here.
and then like knowing that I'm gonna watch it later. It's like it's all the feels because I love that show. And something that came up in an interview where talking about the bald thing, he talked about the interviewer. This was for Rolling Stone. The interviewer asked him that how he felt losing all of his hair at 19. He said it destroyed me, it ruined me, and he said this was before you could actually make bald sexy. So I kind of had to figure out how to make all that happen. And I'm sitting there thinking,
You made bald sexy, man.
that he's the reason why.
Might have
bald
been
is
you,
sexy.
yeah.
We
Right.
need to go. There is a Graham.
Michael Jordan.
I think it's Graham Norton interview.
Patrick Stewart's
No,
over.
there's I want to say it's a
He
Graham
wasn't
Norton
famous.
interview. It's early. It's like it's been a while back, and he goes like into the whole thing about him, shaving his head and all this kind of stuff, and the whole story behind, like even more detailed. It sounds like than
he
that.
talks about in this particular
And,
interview. The only story that he told was he said that he tried to play it off as he could wear a lot of wigs, so it's like 2 actors for the price of 1,
Yeah.
kind of thing. And I'm like, that sounds like such a defense mechanism.
Yeah, he
I
talks
was
about
like-
how insecure he was about it and all this. And you should go look that one up.
Yeah.
Well, I too loved it, and I can't wait for you to watch it so we can talk
Yeah.
about it. And it's one of those type of shows that, like for Travis, who wasn't into the Next Generation, you can still enjoy it. But
Yes.
if you watch the Next Generation and all the other shows, it's so rich. There's so many great callbacks to the old shows and those old relationships.
Yes.
And then it's a beautifully filmed piece. So
Yes.
CBS All Access is hitting a home run with Discovery and Picard, and I can't wait till they do. Is Section 31 the other show?
I think so.
Section 31 is the one for Michelle Yeoh, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. I mean, there's just so many little details. Like, you know how in this one it's a totally different feel from Star Trek Discovery.
It's
Like Star Trek
it's more dangerous.
Well, Star Trek Discovery is like it's dark and it's like all blues and kind of dark colors and whatnot. And this is like oranges and reds and like when they zoom in on his winery and stuff. I mean, it's just so bright. It's just a totally different feel to it, even. And then in that interview that he's doing, I wanted to wring her neck,
Right.
Whew. And but he is just so kind of this regalness to him. And there was a scene because if you've not watched it yet, this is not really giving anything away, but he's on his winery. You see this right at the beginning, and then he has been there for whatever it's been, 15 years. But he's there with his 2 housekeepers / assistants / whatever. Whatever they are. He employs them, but
Yeah, but
they are
I think they have to.
Romulans.
Yeah.
What?
He employs them, but they are friends.
They
Yeah,
seem
it's
to
both.
Be,
I mean,
they have a mutual interest in protecting each other.
right. But what was very interesting, that was a twist in this, that is something that just kind of played it up even more, is that there was almost a worship, like reverence of him. Oh yeah,
Because he saved their culture's lives as many as he could. He was a hero.
their son was going supernova, and he was the one leading the charge to go in and rescue the Romulans.
Even though everyone hates the Romulans, but he was like, they're beings, they're people, you must save them. And it's just this great extra part of the story.
Oh, it's so good.
It's so good. And then the other thing that's really cool is, Patrick Stewart, the actor, is on in years and still doing such great work. Jean-Luc Picard, the captain, even though it's in the far future and these fuckers live forever and they got all these great, health benefits, has some frailty and illness that he deals with in the course of this story, and it just adds a whole other level to it that's so delicious. And the crux of the story, how it ties into, you've got this Romulan thing, you got this Borg thing, you got this Data thing. There's just so many cool elements going on that are converging, and
You guys are gonna make me watch this damn show.
it's it's like such good TV.
Yeah, the scene that I'm trying to remember the exact words, but like he's about to go on to this interview where and he doesn't want to do it, but they've kind of talked him into doing it, and so he's going to go on because he's afraid they're going to ask him about why he left Starfleet and all this stuff, which they of course do.
Because they're reporters.
And they're
But so his 2 Romulan friends, I can't remember their names right now. They've talked him into doing it, and he explains why he's afraid, and they say something that just still makes me kind of get a little chills. But he says, "We remember what you did," and it's just like,
And there's also
I mean, it's just amazing.
and there's an element of espionage in it too. There's just a lot going on, and it's just like,
I will say-
and also you expect it just turns a lot on its head. That's all I'm gonna say.
I will say, whenever he goes in the second episode to talk to somebody about
To Starfleet,
it's someone in Starfleet about, hey, this is what's going on. I need some help.
Slap that heifer.
didn't we
I
all
was-
just slap that
I
head?
was totally blindsided when she was like, "You
Fuck
freaking
you.
hubris,
Right.
coming in here asking for," and I was like,
And that's what made it again
Isn't
such
this-
good writing.
I mean, this guy was like, demote me to a captain, and I'm like, what?
Yeah,
Like,
and
what,
she was
what
like,
is going-
"Fuck
yeah.
you."
And it all went back to that interview. I mean, I feel like that interview is going to have ramifications for him throughout this whole season. They're going to look back on that and be like, look, you sided with the Romulans. We can't trust you. And
Yes.
Well, okay, so we can say this because this is in the first episode. Because what happened is their son was going supernova. He proposed getting a fleet together to go in and evacuate as many Romulans out of their solar system as they could. And as they're in the process of doing that on Mars, this is part leading into what you were talking about. On Mars, there was a shipyard there or something like that.
Utopia
And-
Planitia.
what was it?
It's Utopia Planitia.
Yeah, that. And thank you. And the synthetics on this station
all the other datas, but they're not as good as data.
rebelled and killed like 90-something thousand people, and it set the atmosphere on fire, and it's still going.
And nobody
So
knows
Mars
why.
is like,
Back up for just a hot second. Okay?
I know, it's a
I
lot.
read something about how those synthetics are based on data. Are they lore technology, or are they data technology, or are they?
We don't know yet.
So they talk about
No,
that a little
they're-
bit
I
in
think
the
it's-
show. They
yeah.
say that they've never
they've never
never
come
been
close
able
to data.
Yeah, they've never been able to recreate data.
So they
But they tried.
Oh, they've tried.
Yeah,
Of course, they've tried.
until
In the future.
until they fucked up, and then they're like, no more. Which then something else.
Well,
happened.
and
Like,
it
there's gonna be
hasn't
some-
been revealed
there's
yet
gonna be some
why they did
layers
it.
of mystery.
No one knows why they did it. I mean, they were so first off, they were being treated like slaves.
I'm gonna say here's my guess of what happened. Either the Borg or the Romulans infiltrated those synthetics and turned them against the humans.
I think
Right.
it was the Borg.
Even money, yeah.
Well, I mean, it feels like it's going to lead up to the Borg because the Borg is in this. Like
You
the
can't have a Picard show without the board.
correct.
Right.
Well, actually, he said in an interview that he said that's kind of been done. I don't want to go there again. So
He doesn't want to be
there
turned
is
into
a
Borg.
Borg in this, the cube, which he didn't.
And
which
then
you
Borg
didn't know
people
about.
in the cube, which they are trying to deborg, which
Yes.
is also part of the thing.
Well,
And then, of course, 7 of 9 shows up soon.
What?
so can I just say that's
Okay,
kind of what I like about this is even though they introduced this and they didn't tell you immediately what this thing was.
They call it the artifact because
They actually
it's
explain-
not a Borg anymore.
So you want to know the funny thing is I was Googling what
It's
the
just
cube was when the season 2 started, and I was like, what's the cube? What's going on? And I told my wife, I was like, oh, it has something to do with the Borg. As soon as I said that, they were like, this isn't a Borg ship. It's the artifact. It's a form. And I was like,
It used to
You
be a
mother-
Borg. It used to be the Borg, and then the Borg cut it off because it
Yeah.
had
Oh,
been attacked, and so now it's just.
Because they do that.
Yeah.
I forgot about that.
And so now
Right.
there's all these people in there, which is it's
It's
just
so
so many
cool.
layers. You're right because
And then the Romulans are like, that are running the Borg ship, are like telling all these other people, all of the different races that are trying to help the people on there and learn that technology, and still, some people are still in the technology and selling it on the black market, that kind of stuff.
they're taking the stuff out of them. And
Yeah, and one of them said, stay in your lane, stay on the guided path kind of thing, because the ship still could be dangerous in places. So there's
Right.
yeah.
because it's huge.
All right.
and
so-
after seeing these 2
It's so
episodes,
good.
it is not surprising they have already renewed it for season 2.
So the
did
whole,
you
the
have
whole
any-
thing. The
do you
whole
have
thing.
anything else you want to add?
No, I mean
You've been kind of
yeah.
silent for this whole discussion.
No, it's fine. I'm tired tonight. I'm not in love with it. I mean, we're still dating right now, and so we'll see how it goes. I don't know how I feel about it right now. I like some of the stuff they're doing. What?
Just keep talking. keep talking.
You're just entertaining Doug right now.
I like some of the stuff they're doing. The new format, the whole drama serial format is still just, I don't know. It's just that tickle in the back of my mind. It just doesn't sit with me just yet.
I
And
thought it slid
even
back his
though,
throat.
You'll get there.
You mean you like the episodic more than the?
He prefers episode.
No,
yeah.
well, I mean, I don't know. I
You
don't
like
know.
the longer
So-
it
arc?
just seems.
You saying that is actually the reason why I want to watch it all the way through. Because
Yeah.
there's two producers in there that
Mhm.
I know how they work. One of them is Michael Chabon.
Yeah.
And that
Yep.
motherfucker, you need to read. You need to have the whole thing in front of you so that you can flip back and forth when necessary.
Mhm.
Okay.
And I need that
Yeah.
with his just written word. And that
Mhm.
dude loves like the pop like storytelling.
Yeah.
But he can also do like the really refined heavy duty shit.
Yeah.
The literary aspects of things.
Mm-hmm.
And like he did shit with Christopher Reeve in his Pittsburgh book
Mm-hmm.
that I was just like, am I the only one catching this? Because I feel like this is written just for me.
Yeah.
You know? And there was like, I mean, he did all kinds of stuff in there, and that was just in The Ghost of Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
But like, so I know he can do that with like a really beloved character.
Mm-hmm.
There's no telling what he can do with Picard. That's just one producer. The other
Yeah.
guy is Akiva Goldsman,
Yeah.
Mhm.
and I'm familiar with his movies and his screenplays. And that dude, he's kind of like in the same boat where it's like you don't know what you watch until like the last 30 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so that's the reason. Because I really feel like, because Jennifer doesn't know this yet, but when it comes out, I'm going to take a day off, watch this son of a bitch,
Yeah.
10 hours straight, maybe plan some meal breaks. I don't
Just
know yet.
binge it.
Couple potty breaks. You
And
know.
just
Yeah.
go for broke, because that's how I know that's how those two guys work. They work until like it's fucking done.
Yeah.
So I can't do this like, let's wait till next week. No,
Yeah.
I will eat a bullet. So
All right. So final
Yeah.
final thoughts on Picard.
Sure. Yeah. Sorry, no, because I want. Yeah, I was going to talk for a few minutes, but that's okay.
We can come
No,
back.
no,
We can
keep
come
going.
back if we have
Keep
time.
going, keep
Okay.
going, keep
All right.
going.
Doug wants
No,
to-
but it just it seems very predictable to me right now. There doesn't seem to be anything mysterious about it. But it seems very telegraphed. The
How
whole
are we
thing-
seeing two different shows right now?
Hold
Yeah,
I
I don't know what
yeah.
you're talking
See-
about.
see, again, that's what they do, man. Siobhan and Akiva dude,
Yeah.
they misdirect.
Yeah, because that's the thing is like the whole thing is so they're getting ready for the interview and he goes now they're not going to talk about it, right? Okay, yeah, no, they're not going to talk about it. We made that rule, they're not going to talk about it. She talked about it and
Well,
pissed
that's-
Picard off.
That's like every
Oh, my
reporter
goodness.
in their
Exactly,
job.
I know that's the thing. It wasn't surprising. It didn't really add anything.
So
You
we
know,
got-
we
we
know-
know this thing's 10 episodes long, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, I guarantee you, by episode 4, you're going to change your religion. I promise.
Well, I mean that's what I'm saying. It may happen. I mean, I'm not.
I'm just saying, dude.
That's the thing. If I didn't enjoy it, I would be like, I'm not enjoying it. Fuck it.
No,
It's just I know. But like then the whole Starfleet when he goes and talks to the admiral, it was so heavy-handed. I think they missed an opportunity to show the nuance of because she's talking about they didn't want we had 14 we had the Federation, we have 14 people 14 races that were going to pull out of the Federation if we go and rescue the Romulans. And so, of course, we had to pull out. But instead of, showing the nuance, they just showed this really bitchy woman, oh, we couldn't have done that, blah, 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 rah, rah, rah.
But that was her character, to be a bitchy woman.
Well,
I mean,
she was bitchy because of what he said about the Federation during that interview.
Yeah.
That was
These-
the whole point.
These guys,
So-
nobody's a throwaway character in these stories,
Mhm.
though.
Yeah.
So what he's saying is basically going to come back later, which is
Yeah,
what he's
because
talking about.
because remember then she went and talked to that other person
Yeah.
who we now know is
The Asian lady?
yeah.
So
So
she's
she's
the
the
Romulan
Romulan.
lady. Romulan
Yeah.
lady.
Oh,
Come on,
right.
racist.
That's secretly part of this other, secret
Right.
Romulan society. Wow,
Yeah.
that was a surprise. I didn't see that.
I will say I did call that the second I saw her on the screen. I
I mean,
was
there's
like,
just
she's
nothing
part of it.
surprising about it. And that was the whole thing is I don't want to. Well, anyway, we've all
We've
seen
already
it.
ruined
No,
it.
no, go ahead.
So
go ahead.
so the first episode, it's like, so it's like she feels drawn to Picard, and it's like, and then they talk about these assassins try to come and kill her, right? And they're talking about has she's been activated yet, or blah 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 blah. And then she sees Picard and she feels drawn to Picard, and it's like, well, I guess that's Data's daughter. You know, I mean, it was just like it's very predictable to me right now.
It was a little fast,
you know,
but I mean, I was still surprised.
you know, in the end, it was like they kill her off, and it's like, well, what are they? Oh, I bet there's a twin. And then it's like, oh yeah, they're made in pairs. It's like, well, yep, there it is. So you know, it's I'm enjoying it for what it is right now. I'm not in love with it because it's somewhat predictable, and so we'll see how it goes.
So that's one no.
That's how it starts. That's how it starts. Man.
That's a maybe. I'm a maybe. I'm not a no.
Mark, Derek, any final thoughts?
It's just interesting. He's seeing predictable. We're seeing mystery.
I'm loving it.
Yeah.
I'm not exactly sure. I mean, I see where you're
And
going.
and I guess the things to me that are predictable are natural storytelling to me.
Yeah, I think that,
So it's kind of like, yes, there's lots of things that I know where something's going to go, but there's still mystery going on, and I just feel like there's going to be more mystery that's going to catch us off guard, like what you're saying. So I'm waiting to be caught off guard.
I think that dichotomy between what you guys are saying and what he's saying,
You can all
it's
come
like-
together.
I mean, yes, exactly. They feed off each other, and that's the reason why I have to watch the damn thing.
Kind of like, and if it does the same thing that Discovery did, remember we had 2 episodes of Discovery, and it was like this certain setup, and then they flipped it all on its head.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought, okay, so I suspect they're going to do something like
It
that
might
as well.
be coming, yeah.
So, okay, what's
All right.
next?
Y'all want to watch the trailer? So,
Sure.
if anybody watched the Super Bowl, you probably saw this commercial for Disney Plus about some of their Marvel that they got coming out. We got WandaVision, the Falcon and Winter Soldier, and Loki, all coming out over the next year, I think.
This year.
Year and a half. Loki, I think, is in next year, 2021.
I think the other 2 are this year, though.
Yeah, the other 2, I think, are this year. I think,
Yeah, I just saw that Falcon and Winter Soldier are August.
Yay!
Okay. So, let's watch this trailer. It's pretty quick.
It's too quick.
It's a little too... And it's all matched up. I was a little disappointed.
Oh, it's a teaser.
I wanted to see them
They
separate.
shouldn't even call it trailer.
I know, they shouldn't have. But they did.
Teaser, tease me. Ski-wee, tease me.
That needs to happen every episode.
Turn the volume on.
It's time.
Yes.
Wonderful.
Vision residents.
She was. That's an Easter egg. I wrote the Easter egg.
I'm gonna burn this place to the ground.
Yeah, I don't know what all those shows are. There's references. It seems like I saw Brady Bunch.
There's
It's,
Family Ties.
it's I
Well,
Love Lucy.
I
I Love Lucy.
I Love
The
Lucy.
Brady Bunch, All in the Family.
All in the Family.
Roseanne was
80s.
in there
It
somewhere.
looks Roseanne-ish or Family Ties-ish.
I think it's
So it's
Family Ties.
80s.
I think there's both Roseanne and
Full
Family Ties.
House and then modern day.
Modern Family.
No, modern day, like
Modern
modern time.
Well,
Oh,
Just
gotcha.
the present day.
Gotcha.
so are we back live? I don't know if we're... Okay. So, we were talking about the WandaVision mostly. So it gives the impression, and I think from reading the stories, we all know what's kind of going to happen, is that Wanda is creating this illusion.
I mean,
I think
there's a lot of
the
speculation.
ongoing
but-
theory is that
yeah.
there is an illusion that Wanda has created for her and Vision to live this happy marriage life, and things start breaking down at some point, which is where you get the modern day feel of
Yeah,
it.
it's an old storyline from I can't remember.
West
how
Coast
long
Avengers?
ago. West Coast Avengers. That's it. Yeah, it's the West Coast Avengers storyline.
That
And with her being
Vision-
pregnant, people were like, okay, well, yeah, Speed and
Wiccan.
Thank you. So yeah, that seems to be.
I read an
wrong
interesting
with it.
thing today about it that Vision is not necessarily referring to the Vision himself. I mean, it is, but it's not because it's
the
almost
vision
like
that she creates, kind of thing.
well, that's one thing. The other one is she's using it as her last name, Wanda Vision, because she was married to. Yeah, so it was interesting some of the things I read about it as well.
Interesting.
I will say this: her costume does not translate to the.
Well, someone
Thank God they didn't do that in the movie.
actually someone told me that
Oh,
that was a
Bewitched.
Halloween costume.
Yeah, that one's.
It
that
looks
was
Halloween.
Well, right, but that's what her costume looks like,
Yeah.
and I'm glad they.
But I think that,
I'm glad they didn't use it.
but I think if they had made it 4 to use, they would have made it look cool. I think it's deliberately to look like a cheap Halloween costume. Is what I'm saying.
Yeah, I'm guessing it's gonna be like a devil costume that she got, and she's like, "Hey, look at this!" And it's gonna be like, "Whoa!"
Kind of like that when Luke Cage had that prison outfit that looked like his throwback costume.
Yeah.
I think it's a deliberately bad humorous.
Throwback.
Yeah,
That
which
was,
was
that was
amazing.
a great scene.
I think
I love
this
that
part of her outfit is fine. I think it's just that headpiece that probably throws it off.
Okay. So yeah, Disney Plus has some cool stuff going on. I mean, did anybody want to say anything about Falcon, Winter Soldier, or Loki?
I cannot wait for Falcon and Winter Soldier to
Ditto.
beat
Yeah.
the shit out of U.S. Agent.
Yes, all
Cannot
of that.
wait for that.
They did have a little bit of a attack. Yeah, you saw U.S. Agent actually in the trailer, or what people are speculating is U.S. Agent in the trailer.
Which everyone knows it wasn't U.S. Agent. I mean, that it wasn't Captain America. There's a lot of people thinking it's Captain America because you can recognize the ass.
Right.
That's America's
This is gonna be the true test of America's ass right here.
Right.
Well, so I read somewhere that this Loki series is going to be interesting because it's going to be not just the Tom Hiddleston Loki, but apparently they're going to bring in the whole gender bending and age. Because when he Kid Loki when he was young, and then there was a female version of him, and then there was the regular version of him. So it'd be interesting to see how that goes.
Agreed.